This season's Freedom to Know Wellness Seniors Voices is sponsored by Digital Main Street Raise Entrepreneurs Grant. Welcome to Freedom to Know Wellness's Seniors Voices. This is the final podcast of Season 1's Stories Heard from the Lived Experiences of Seniors with Disabilities, but it's definitely not the last surrounding this topic. This episode will run a little differently. Usually, Seniors Voices are stories heard without being interviewed, hearing solely from the individual. But due to the medical condition of this senior, I had to ask her questions to assist with the process. Thanks again for your support and for taking the time to listen. Welcome to Freedom to Know Wellness's Seniors Voices, a highlight series featuring seniors with different disabilities, telling their life stories, transitioning from government disability assistance to becoming pensioners surviving off of CPP and OAS. This year's series was recorded in 2023 and may not reflect some of the new government medical changes implemented mid-2024, but the needs and concerns remain relevant. Recipients on government disability, for example, Ontario's ODSP, the benefits these services provide, like coverage for repairs of mobility devices and medications. At age 65, recipients are booted out of the disability program, cutting them off from these benefits. The government has a seniors drug benefit plan called Ontario Drug Benefit Program, covering up to $100 for medications. However, many important drugs and supplies are not covered under the ODBP plan, forcing seniors to pay exorbitant out-of-pocket expenses for things necessary for their health on an already restricted budget. Due to their disabilities, many individuals were not able to work consistently or full-time jobs during their formidable years that would contribute to a substantial pension, never mind for those who could not work at all, leaving these seniors with meager retirement pensions. Even with government supplementary pension program like GAINS, Ontario's Guaranteed Annual Income System at $87 per month, or the Canada-wide GIS, Guaranteed Income Supplement of up to $1,065.47 a month, given to pensioners whose annual pensions are below $21,768. And keep in mind, the exact amount given will differ depending on their earnings. Many low-income seniors and seniors with disabilities are still left grappling financially to maintain life and independence. Seniors' voices are stories shared without being interviewed by individuals with various disabilities and medical conditions, the difficulties they face transitioning from government disability to Canada pension, and the frustration and financial hardship they encounter now without disability support. In recognition of this financial deficit, Freedom to Know Wellness pays Seniors Voices CARFAC co-production fees as compensation for their stories. For those of us who are currently on disability, we too will become senior citizens, and we need to look out for each other. Seniors Voices is one of FTKWellness's annual podcast series, highlighting the causes and needs of low-income seniors with disabilities and medical conditions, bringing their stories to the ears of the government. Please advise, the content heard on this podcast is based on the opinions and experiences of the individual. Each medical condition and support service differ, as each individual may require more or less support or care than suggested by today's speaker. To protect their privacy, some speakers may use aliases or first names only without visual representation. Welcome to Freedom to Know Wellness, where voices are heard. Seniors Voices Edition.
Hi, my name's Linda Peake. I had a spinal cord injury and C3, C4 fracture. My life and career before my disability, I was very active, cycling, running.
You said you were with a touring company. What kind of work were you doing with the touring company?
The touring company was Famous People Players. I don't know if you know them. They were, I think they still are in existence on a smaller scale. But the actors were all people with disabilities. And I was the stage manager. I went into the theaters to work with the crew there to set up all the things on stage, props, backdrops, and I would call the show. It was busy. It was sometimes nerve-wracking because you don't know what you run into in a theater you've not been in before, or how the audience reacts, how the crew reacts, particularly because most of the actors were people with disabilities. So, but to me, it was a fulfilling experience. What caused my disability was a car accident. We had arrived in a motel, then we had to cross a road in Los Angeles to get to a restaurant. And that's where I was keeping the company together and was leading them across. And another person brought up the rear to make sure we all got across the 3-lane highway before the cars started moving again. And I was struck by one of those cars that was turning. But fortunately, I was in a trauma unit there that specialized in spinal cord injuries and things. Fortunately, it was on the LA side where I was struck because they have one of the best trauma and spinal cord injury centers there. If I had been on the other side of the road, it would have been a different county without those specializations. So I guess I can say I was fortunate to be struck on the LA side. And once I was able to be transported to Toronto, I came here and I went to the Toronto Rehab Center. And that was also a marvelous place. Between the two, it really got me back in the frame of mind that I can live like this. And very well, actually, as it's turned out. We were covered under the theater company and medical insurance, and also the cars that caused the accident were forced to pay as well. So it was, at the time, I figured a healthy amount of income. But, a lot of that went on equipment for me and learning to live a whole different way. And that basically ended my career in theater. But I have no regrets. I feel I'm living a good, healthy life. But then I had to keep myself busy, and that's when my darkroom photography interest really came to life then. I had a really good Nikon camera, and on my manual chair, a friend welded a cup there with a bendable thing to mount the camera on, and I could move it up, down, any which way. So that was one thing that helped get me back out into society, and a lot of photos I took and also turned my bathroom into a dark room to develop them. But then eventually I gave up on that. I think I found other outlets as well.
You mentioned you were working for a communications company before you went on disability.
I worked in the communications division with the City of Toronto. And I was in a wheelchair while I was working there, which was very fortunate for me because it gave me income and a career in the communications division. So there would be certain clients. Olivia Chow was a counselor at that time, and she needed support from communication. So I was assigned to work with her. But there were also other clients as well that had either short-term needs to have some public communication out there. So I really enjoyed that work. But when they were offering a healthy sum for people to retire early, and that's when they were downsizing. So you had to meet an age factor of which I fit into. So I immediately applied for it and got it, which was really good for me because it led me to other avenues. So after that, I lived off the pension money I had saved, and now I do get ODSP as well. That was kind of the bridge for it until ODSP kicked in after I had depleted that money. As a senior with a disability, it was terrifying at first, but now it's become just another way of life for me, and I'm quite content with my life. So I can't complain about that.
Because you're no longer on ODSP at age 65. So what happened?
And yeah, because I still have some investments, although it's dwindled. I'm certainly more on a budget than I used to be. I manage. I do well. I don't live extravagantly, but I'm happy with my life. Yes, I'm fortunate enough to have personal support workers, PSWs for short, that come in the morning to get me up, dressed, breakfast, whatever else I need at that time. And they return in the evening to put me to bed and settle me in, and then that repeats the next morning. I'm really happy with that service. It's not a nursing service, it's just people who know what they're doing for people with disabilities and probably many other needs that people have.
So do you have PSW services 5 times a week or 7 days a week?
7 days a week, yeah. Morning and at night.
Mm-hmm.
And it can vary those days that I go to the senior center. They come early because I need to be ready when the bus arrives.
And you have housekeeping services to help you clean?
Yes, yes. Housekeeping and laundry together in the same day, so that, oh, the person comes, gets me up. Usually I say, okay, well, why don't you put the laundry in first and then come back and get me up when I've had my coffee, or then it's time for her to go back. So,
But do you feel living on your own? Do you feel that you can live comfortable and independent with the services you receive?
I do, yes. I mean, I can do some things. If there's a bit of laundry that really needs doing, I can do that.
Like a small amount of laundry.
Yeah. Not huge loads, but yeah.
And you have an accessible apartment.
I do. 45-year-old building, and the counters haven't been changed. Nothing. These were all like this. This is all the original kitchen.
And it's still in great condition.
It is, yeah. They really manage this building well. There's been a lot of repairs done, and there are things like nicks in the doors, hallway, my chair, and it's the cause of it basically. But yeah, they're very good. And if I tell them I need something, or this isn't working properly, they come up as quickly as they can get to it. They maintain this building quite well. This chair is a little too wide for the ramp, and a little too heavy. This is about 300 pounds. So on Wednesdays, Monday and Wednesdays, when I go to the senior center, I go in what I call Chiquita, the little one. And that's okay. They pick me up, get on the bus, go there for a day, and then return home, door to door. So it's a good program. I was glad that it was recommended to me. I look forward to Monday and Wednesdays. They said I could go another day, like Friday or something. And I said, Monday and Wednesdays are okay right now. But the moment the snow flies, I'd be happy to go a third day. I don't take well to the cold. Yeah.
Neither do I.
Yeah. But in this weather, I can get anywhere I want right now. So.
The accessible chair gives you freedom.
Yes, very much so.
At these senior services, what type of programs do they offer?
Well, they have all kinds of activities, more than programs, but they have excellent qualified staff there. So I know there's been a couple of times I've gone to them with an issue, or just feeling down. And they are very helpful. They're very understanding. And, all the seniors have different abilities. Some, their minds aren't as sharp, nor is mine, but others may see things crawling in their lunch. So, it's a wide range of individuals, but somehow we all band together and and get through it. And I can't wait for Monday and Wednesdays to come.
What is your favorite activity on Monday and Wednesday?
They have different activities. They do. They have indoor bowling balls and to bowl, and we break up in two teams. So, you're challenging yourselves as well as challenging the other team. It's not highly competitive. It's always fun. And then darts as well, which I must say I do quite well at it because I used to play darts when I was younger, actually on a team in Prince Edward Island. So, but it's a little different now. I'm in different positions seated, but they lower the board and I just throw the darts and say to stand aside. But yeah, I enjoy the activities there. Some I find are getting really redundant. Been there, done that, but still I go because the company is good. The people who go there have all kinds of stories. They have all kinds of ability or lack of, and everyone is accepted. They send their own bus from Greenwood to pick up people who are going there. So it's not like you have to provide your own transportation. They don't pay for it.
Do they provide food?
Yes. Oh, marvelous meals too. It's at first when I went, I quite expected a cafeteria style lineup. But no, this is like a high class restaurant. The food is excellent. They accommodate like my gluten-free, lactose-free diet. Even down to the bread is gluten-free. And so that they're very accommodating in that manner. And the staff actually are the ones who serve us. And that is interesting because they all act like they are waiting tables in a high-class restaurant. So it's an atmosphere that makes everyone feel special and get good food.
How do you manage food and groceries at home? Especially in this economy, it's very expensive. How do you manage?
Well, I do get Meals on Wheels. I was thinking of canceling that, but and I get specific gluten-free, lactose-free. The bread that comes with it is gluten-free. So that accommodates me well. But sometimes I don't get through all of it. So what I've learned to do is I have a walk. I take the leftovers, the vegetables, the chicken, or whatever the meat is, heat the wok, and I just add rice, add whatever I've got in the fridge, and I end up with like 4 meals or so. So, yeah, quite thrifty that way. I just don't like it going to waste.
So you're able to at least save money to manage financially, as it's very hard as a senior.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yes, it is. And food is outrageous now.
Share how you, if you don't mind sharing with us, how do you budget to manage with only being on OAS and CPP? How do you manage
I don't.
with medical conditions?
I was wondering if there was still some other money there, but I know it's depleting rapidly. But I do have someone who manages my money. It's a company that will look after my money so that I don't mismanage it. I've never been good with managing money, to be honest, but now with my mind in the state it is, it's like I might want to withdraw more money than I have or should allot for the month. So this company keeps me well on track, and I appreciate it too. I keep threatening Smokey that his food is expensive too, so he should go out.
Your cat?
Yeah, he should go out and catch mice. Get his own job. Contribute.
And being in a co-op, at least that helps cut down on market rent.
Yes, it does. It does.
So they can subsidize to help pay according to what you can afford.
Yes. And I do have a subsidy. It's not a huge amount because I do have that income and investments, but it helps. Every bit helps.
So tell us what happened when your accessible chair broke down and you had to depend solely on your manual wheelchair.
That was hard because I was used to going everywhere in this. I couldn't get shopping properly. Corner store is way too expensive. Just getting to Shoppers on Dundas was difficult. Because you know the curb cuts now that have all the ripples in it? It's almost impossible to get up them in a manual chair. But I must say, everyone on the street are always willing to help, whether they just offer the assistance or I ask them for it. But one of the happiest moments was when a woman she had two young children. One was walking, the other was in a stroller. And she told them to wait there, that she was going to help me up the curb. And the boy in the stroller said, "Mommy, I want one of those," And I thought that was really key, because so many times I used to pass women with strollers or young children walking, and they'd pull them away like I was diseased or something. But I always made a point of saying hello to them, to the young kids who didn't quite comprehend why I was in the chair. Except for, "Mommy, I want one of those." Yeah. So took that on because so many people pull their kids away. So I made it a point of talking directly to the children. And I think I may have made some difference in their attitude. I was just afraid people were going to grow up afraid of people in wheelchairs or with disabilities just because they were pulled away by their mother or father or whoever. And so I made a point of smiling and talking directly to them.
So tell us why you weren't able to get a new accessible wheelchair.
You mean this one?
Yes, because you had the manual wheelchair for a while. You couldn't get a new wheelchair, accessible wheelchair?
No, this is old, and it needed the batteries replaced and 2 new batteries. And there was something else in there, something to do with the tilt that didn't work. And I was told it would cost $800. Nobody said it was covered at all. So I tried saving $800. A month later, I called my social worker and I said, I don't know what to do because I keep trying to save the money to repair this. And she said, well, it's already paid for. And I said, well, nobody told me. So I called immediately to the company. And in a few days, they came over and repaired this in like half an hour. Oh, I was so thrilled. I just went out and wheeled everywhere I could think of going.
How many months or how long were you without your accessible mobility chair?
I think it was at least a month, if not 5 to 6 weeks. I was trying to figure that out, but
I think it was a lot longer than that.
Could be.
Yeah, it was
felt like forever.
Several months I would see you without it.
Yeah, it felt like it was forever.
So why do you think you weren't informed that you had this covered?
I don't know. I mean, my memory is a little off sometimes, but I'm certain I was told, because I called a social worker and I said, when? How can I get this? And she said, well, she had to call someone else and then called me back to say, it's paid for. And I said, well, nobody informed me of that. So immediately, she helped me make sure I got someone here as quickly as possible. 2 new batteries later, and a new charger. It was fine. Now I can go anywhere. In fact, when the day after I let it charge overnight, the next day, I wanted to really give it a good run. Plus, I wanted to get out and move. So I spent the whole day making sure that it wasn't depleting, showing depletion in the battery. So, yeah, I just spent the whole day outside. And that was a welcome thing.
Do you have Wheel-Trans services too?
I haven't used Wheel-Trans for a long time. Particularly with this, I can get almost anywhere I want downtown.
When it wasn't working and only the manual wheelchair was working, did you use Wheel-Trans at all then?
No, I didn't. I don't know why. I would go as far as I could. I got down to Dundas, going east, going west on Dundas Street. And that was okay. I built muscle, which is I'm losing because I'm using this more. But yeah, I still get a workout in that one. Yeah.
It was very hard seeing you in the winter months using that manual wheelchair by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
It was very hard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because the rims aren't covered with anything that would let me propel it. It was just slush on there. And I'd have gloves on, but they get wet through. So yeah, it was a little hard getting around. Yeah. But I'm all set to go anywhere I need now.
That is.
Yeah. And I'm far happier.
So what would you like to tell other seniors? Just a word of encouragement. What would you like to tell seniors with disabilities, especially?
Yeah. I'm not sure. I think a lot of people need to be educated on what is available to them. I needed to be educated on it because I didn't know in the beginning, and now I'm quite well versed on it. But overall, I think just enjoy life, as a senior. If you're not working, just make the most of it. Don't sit around brooding. Just keep yourself happy, and interact with other people, seniors, anyone else. Like joining some of these organizations could be beneficial to many people, I would think. Enjoy life, I think, is what I would recommend.
Thank you so much, Linda, for sharing your story with us.
Oh, my pleasure.
And what you're saying is right, to be informed.
Yes.
Because you went without an accessible wheelchair for a very long time.
Yes.
And if you knew what you knew now, you could have been helped at that time.
Yes.
As stated, Linda's brain injury has greatly impacted her memory and has clouded even the reality of the duration of time without her wheelchair. After the recording of this podcast, I spoke with Linda's PSWs to obtain more details, or I should say a more accurate information on the length of Linda's experience in obtaining her new electric wheelchair. Due to legal restrictions, Linda's PSWs were not permitted to speak directly on the podcast. So here is a summary of what they shared. Linda waited almost 2 years to receive her electric wheelchair. Linda applied to have her electric wheelchair fixed, but was denied assistance due to the restrictions stipulated in the application that she wasn't qualified. Yet there seemed to have been a misunderstanding, as strangely, later this application was turned over, finding out that there was an error and that she did qualify to have her electric wheelchair fixed after almost 2 years in. As Linda mentioned, a social worker was able to review her situation and navigate the correct services, confirming that Linda qualified for coverage and that her wheelchair was already paid for. Linda could not afford to have her electric wheelchair fixed and was dependent on her manual wheelchair. Linda's mobility, especially her legs, is limited. Yet, despite her limitations, Linda tried to maneuver herself using her arms to push and her feet to gradually pull herself, even in the snow. The winters were arduous, strenuous, and a difficult time for her. Linda lives in my neighborhood, and one time Linda got stuck in the snow while trying to maneuver her manual wheelchair. I use a walker for my mobility. I saw her and tried my best to assist to push her using my walker and my body weight. It was a peculiar experience and a sight to see. Someone thankfully saw us and came to Linda's assistance. It was a blind leading the blind situation, and even comical. Linda had a sense of humor about it. But Linda's predicament were so dire that anyone of any mobility would have tried to assist. This concludes this season's Seniors Voices Individual Stories. On our next podcast, we'll be speaking with one of the organizations from our Seniors Voices online resources and discussing other related wellness topics. Thank you again for listening to Freedom to Know Wellness, and be well.